grandson, I assume, have any legal rights to the property while their grandson is still a minor?
Okay, let's back up. Because although the grandmother can deed the property to the minor son, a minor is not able or qualified to hold real estate in the state of Michigan, nor capable of conveying it. So the question I would have under the Michigan Land Title Standards is, what is the effect of the quitclaim deed? I doubt that it's effective while the kid is a minor. It may be. So then, again, I'd have to check the title standards, and maybe if Ron Ellison is listening, he'll check the title standards.
Are you taking calls, Bill?
Only
Yeah,
if Ron's calling. Do you have caller ID?
Good morning.
Yeah, he's got caller ID.
Oh, it's JC.
Oh, hey, JC.
Even better.
You're getting the answer because I'm listening.
Yeah, you wouldn't give a deed to a minor because I doubt that it's an effective conveyance. The minor can't convey it back out. I don't know what happens when the minor reaches the age of 18, whether or not the deed becomes effective. Again, that would all depend upon the Michigan Land Title Standards. So you wouldn't do it as a grandmother. You'd set up a trust for the kid. You'd have a trustee other than the child, other than the minor, and have the trustee administer it for the benefit of the minor child until the kid reached age 18, at which time the trust would terminate and the kid could then hold the property. The parents have no rights unless they're the trustee or unless they're designated as the guardians or conservator, rather, of the property of the minor.
I agree. JC, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask about the sudden rise again in foreclosures on the homes and stuff. Are we going to go through another deal where everything's going to start crashing again, like they're saying? Because the sales, really, from what I'm reading, they say they're up, but yet then you read the other report and they're not. It's just, what's going on here? Are we getting ready for another bubble?
They have been saying for years that we have an onslaught of foreclosures coming on, and I just haven't seen it. Every time they say that, I haven't seen those foreclosures come on. We always have them trickling in, but
But certain areas are Florida, California, they're harder hit.
Right, and Michigan was hit hard too.
Right.
Right now our problem is nobody's putting their houses on the market. I cannot believe the shortage of houses to sell.
I heard that we had 1,000 houses sitting vacant here in town.
Well, in the city
In the county,
we have,
isn't it?
yeah. I don't know what the county is, but in the city there are vacant homes, but those aren't, for the most part, those vacant homes aren't habitable.
Well, and they're not listed for sale either. And the latest stats I saw were, in fact, that foreclosures were down, that they weren't up. I don't know where you're getting your stats from, but this was just the other day I saw a headline that the foreclosures were declining. And in my practice, I'm not seeing any increase in foreclosures at all. Again, most of the foreclosures I do are commercial ones. That bubble has already burst. I don't expect a second bubble because all of those loans were typically 5-year, 10-year loans. They've come due or are about to come due, so that bubble's not going to happen again.
And what you may be reading is what happens is towards the end of November, banks stop the foreclosure. A lot of banks stop the foreclosure process because of the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so then they start it back up in January. So we do see a few more foreclosures in the very first part of the year because of that reason, because they don't want to foreclose on a family during the holidays.
It would be easy to check. You can go to the Jackson County Legal News and check out how many properties are listed for foreclosure sale, and pick up a copy from a year ago and just do a comparison of the numbers.
Thanks, JC. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing this morning, gang?
Good.
The question is, if there's a shortage of homes for sale, where are people looking to buy? Are they looking in the city or are they looking outside the city?
They're looking in their price range.
Oh, so it doesn't matter where it's at?
No, it doesn't matter. Does not matter. It just depends on their price range more than anything else. I mean, obviously people first, I think, pick, if it's a family, they usually first pick school districts and they go from there. But if they can't find within their price range in that school district, then they have to expand their search. But
I'm getting ready to put mine up for sale. What should I not do?
I'm sorry, ask that question again.
I'm getting ready to put mine up on the market. What should and should I not do to get it ready? I don't want to do something to it that's a total waste of money.
Right.
What's the do's and don'ts to putting your house up for sale.
Deep clean. Scrub that front door. Start from the street and get your lawn manicured. I mean, these are things you can do that don't cost you a lot of money. If that door needs to be painted, paint it. Curb appeal, you got to get them in that door first. Got to get them in the door first, and then once they get in, the cleaner the house, the better. I go through houses that I can't believe people don't clean. So deep clean it would be the easiest and best thing that you could do. Sounds simple, but
Yeah.
people don't think about it. Clean your closets. Organize your closet. The more room they think they have, the more they'll pay for the house.
Because I was told never to paint a house before you sell it because they may come in and repaint it.
No, that's neutralize it Navajo white with Dove white trim. If you've got bright walls, people can't see. People buy what they see, not what will be.
But you wouldn't redo a bathroom or something like that?
Depends on how bad the bathroom is.
Okay.
But people buy bathrooms and kitchens first and foremost.
Yeah.
So
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Carpeting.
Yeah, if it's spotted. If you have hardwood floors, take the carpet up and just do the hardwood floors. People love hardwood floors. Granite countertops. You can go to any of the big boxes and get some nice inexpensive vanities and switch them out, and simple things you can do that don't cost a whole lot of money.
If you have cats, hide them.
Animals, smoking. If you smoke, stop, but at least stop smoking in your house, because there are people who will not buy a house that has been smoked in. I think you're one of them.
You looking at me
I'm looking at you.
with those glasses?
Yeah.
Great.
I have
Yeah,
it.
that would be me. I wouldn't buy a house that somebody.
And you wouldn't buy a car that someone smoked in either. You won't even ride in a car that.
I won't even talk to somebody who smokes.
You're such a smoker snob. Anyhow, those are simple animals. If have someone who's not used to having animals
Pets
in
are
their,
not a good thing.
well, pets
but
aren't good things. However, pet smells
right,
are not.
right.
And have someone go through your house that isn't used to it, and have them be honest. I can tell you, I'm usually honest with people.
Yeah. I would agree.
But if they
I
want to
can
sell
tell
their
you that
house,
she's brutally honest with her husband.
well, you need a lot of honesty. I'm just saying.
I thought it was brutality you were going to say, but that's beside the point.
So we have 1,000 homes in the city?
There, well, we have more than that in the city, but that are vacant.
That's what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Pat threw out a number that was 2,000, but I'd have to double check that number. I hear a lot of numbers about a lot of different things, and I have to look at notes.
So you say most of them are not habitable?
There are a lot that would cost. Well, they're habitable if you want to put $80,000 to $100,000 into them.
Well, nobody wants to do that.
No,
Not in the city.
no. There are very few areas. You could probably go to Essex Heights, the Queens area, foot of Essex Heights, and put some money into a home and get it back. But that's not where these homes are, unfortunately.
Well, when you say put the money, when you're talking about that amount of money, but there's certainly properties within the city and immediately outside of that you can buy and put a reasonable amount of money in it.
Reasonable, but I wouldn't say.
But are you going to get it back?
Yeah,
well,
I
it
wouldn't.
depends upon the condition of the home and
Well,
how much I have to put in order to rehab
Right,
it.
I
But
understand that.
but a lot of the homes that you're talking about here and that were mentioned that are vacant in the city are ones that, from our perspective, would be beyond repair.
Right.
You wouldn't invest the amount of money necessary to bring it up to code requirements to make it habitable. That's a difficult.
And maybe someone
difficult
who's going to
circumstance.
live in it might do that, and if they are, more power to them, because
Or rent.
that would be awesome. But
Rentals.
if it's an
Well,
investor,
but even rentals got to be brought up to code.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that's the issue. Can you afford to spend enough to bring it up to code requirements? These aren't city code requirements. These are state construction code requirements that you have to meet. So it has nothing to do with the city imposing additional burdens on a potential landlord. It's just, the home has been allowed to deteriorate to such an extent that it's beyond salvation.
So, marketable homes, there aren't many out there. Is that-
no, it's we got about 750 listings in the county. That's hardly anything.
But there's a reason for that. And the reason is with the downturn in the market and the decrease in value. a lot of owners who would have ordinarily been trading up because they had equity in their home. They'd sell, they'd get the equity and trade up. That equity is gone. And in fact, they may be underwater. So they're either just sitting there not able to move up because they lack equity, or they're underwater and they say, well, I'm going to wait out this market for 10 years or 15 years to get back to at least break even. So what happens is a lot of the homes that ordinarily would have been for sale is we're turning them over. It's just not happening.
And I think a lot of people are like buyers were. Buyers used to be afraid to go find out if they qualified for a mortgage. And I'm not seeing that quite as much as we did see. Now I think sellers are afraid to find out what their house is worth. And I say to them, don't be afraid. Call me, because I'll tell you. And if it's not where it needs to be, then don't do anything. It's that simple. But you can't make a decision unless you have the facts. And I'm more than happy to give people the facts so they can make an informed decision. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, the gentleman who called on the house, ready to get your house on the market, call me. I'll tell you what I think.
There you go.
Tell you where it stands. All right, so we had part one of the remarriage and blending families in real estate last week. Can we... You had so much to say.
Particularly in light of the arguments on DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act yesterday before the U.S. Supreme Court. It's probably a very appropriate subject, right? Okay, so you want to talk about remarriage and blending families.
Mm-hmm. And real estate.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I don't want to counsel anybody on remarriage and blending families because...
Or on the U.S. Supreme Court's leaning one way or the other. Seemed pretty evident from the arguments yesterday, but that's...
I didn't hear the arguments.
Yeah, let's go elsewhere. I mean, it was a good argument from a lawyer's point of view. It was great. It was very, very interesting arguments, and I didn't listen to all of them, or you can't listen. I didn't. I only
you
heard some of the
working,
excerpts.
weren't
Right. I was working. You know, I couldn't listen to all of them. At any rate,
so you and I got married, and we each had children. We didn't have children together, which is
a fairly common scenario, right?
That's one element we took out of that pie.
Right.
That's probably more than we needed to know.
Right. But we.
You guys are something.
All right. So what's your?
But we didn't buy
question?
a house until after we were married. No, we bought a house. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. God, it was so long ago.
She's having a senior moment, and she's not even a senior yet.
It dawned on me.
I'm tearing up.
It dawned on me this morning that I will have been in this business in August.
I've been listening to you all morning. I've been listening to you for 4 hours.
You're blessed.
And just think how much I have to.
Oh, yeah, that's
okay?
true.
So now do I get a little bit of sympathy?
You do.
Okay, if not pity.
Maybe they'll take up a collection for you for a trip or something. But anyhow, I've been in the business in August 30 years. This will be my 30th
Are you
year.
that old?
Congratulations.
Well, it's all I've ever done.
You don't look like you're that old.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You're really getting high up in my book there, I'm telling you. Anyhow, we bought a house before we got married.
Yes.
But we didn't live together. Just
yeah. We live together, but in separate bedrooms, Greg.
That's more than we needed to hear.
Well,
there's certain moral standards that a lawyer has to meet, and
that was
you
one
can
of
buy a
them.
property
I didn't know
together.
that was one of them.
Oh yeah,
Come on.
Oh, very much so. Yeah,
We should
We're
ask
governed by
Jackie
the
how it
Michigan
works.
rules of professional responsibility, and one of those is that if we buy a house with someone to whom we are not legally betrothed, we must build a partition wall, meet only at the designated times, sleep in different bedrooms. That's a requirement. So anyway.
Anyhow, so what did we do?
Who made up that law?
Laura told me that one.
Oh, okay.
All right, so what did we do? You have no clue because I drew up the document.
I had to trust you.
You trusted me.
So what did we do? What should I have done to protect all the money that I put down on my portion of the house?
You should have had Jackie been the co-owner along with me as opposed to you, and that way she and I would have owned the property. No, what you do, I said this before, you just do a prenuptial agreement which sets forth what's going to happen in the event of divorce or death of either spouse. And if you set it up, you can do it through joint mutual wills, in addition to a prenup to handle things upon death, or you can do it through an inter vivos, a living trust, during the lifetime of the parties into which the property is put, and that the trust then provides for how that property is going to be distributed. The two spouses are the trustees during their lifetime. The surviving spouse is the trustee, but must manage it for the benefit of the beneficiaries as set forth in the trust. It gets a little complicated when you blend families. Most people don't bother to do it. They simply trust the surviving spouse, and I suspect in the vast majority of cases that trust is well justified.
However,
in divorce, you're more worried in blending families, it seems to me, about death than you are at divorce, because upon the death of the one spouse, the surviving spouse is now in control. With everything held jointly, that surviving spouse could effectively disinherit the children of the now deceased spouse. They get nothing.
So you're really looking out for your previous siblings.
I'm looking out for my offspring
Yes.
that I brought to this marriage from a previous relationship.
He doesn't care about his siblings. I mean, he cares about his siblings.
Yeah, we're not worried about my other family members, parents, and I could be, and I could provide for them,
right.
Brothers and sisters, but we're talking in most circumstances about our children and the children of each spouse, and not children of
and
two
in our
spouses
case,
together.
you have 4 children, I have 2, and all of which we're happily to announce that they're all adults, all self-sufficient adults.
Reasonably self-sufficient, but the point is that, and I said this either last week or the week before, I'm a lot older than Laura, and so the odds are, at least the actuarial odds are, that I will die first, and so I need to make certain that my children are well protected. Now I have
But we've done a will,
trust.
but we didn't do that prior to buying that house together, so you did something in the deed. You can do something with the deed.
You can do something with the deed, a little more difficult in that respect. You really want to set it up in the form of, as I say, joint mutual wills or a trust, so that we know what's going to happen upon death. You and I owned that property, we sold that property, took the proceeds, bought another property. We just need to make certain that our respective children are taken care of upon the death of one or the other of us.
Don't forget about me.
Oh, we left you some items of personal property, Greg. We
No
don't
pets,
leave any money.
please.
We don't leave any money, just some
Oh, we
items
have
of
great
personal property.
dogs.
No,
We really
yeah.
have great dogs.
I'm not a pet lover.
Don't forget me.
Oh,
Well,
Do you have
much-
any listings before we leave?
I have few.
Okay.
I used to have a lot more, but they're all selling. So, no open houses this weekend. This is Easter.
Okay.
Are you having Easter dinner? Because Bill might be up north, so I need to go somewhere.
I'll call you.
Then I'd find out where you live, and you probably would want that. So yeah, I have some listings ranging from 25,000 up to 3 million.
Oh,
So
That's
a
a-
nice
that runs the
range.
gamut.
Yeah, it does.
jeez.
We need listings.
So call this number.
780-3800.
Have a nice Easter.
Ciao.
Bill.
You too.